it's a pleasure to have you here. I understand you're a very remarkable woman doing something extraordinary, making an impact out there. And I'm so glad to have you on this session today.
Thank you.
Maybe for the audience, I wouldn't want to preempt who you are. So maybe you could tell us who you are, what do you do, so that they can have a bigger picture of what you do.
Okay. So my name's Agler Waweru, a shelter officer at Talia Agler Girls Shelter. Talia Agler Girls Shelter is a project of CDTD. Yeah. So at Talia Agler Girls Shelter, we rescue girls and young women who have gone through different kinds of abuses. We reach them under the 4R approach, whereby we rescue, we reach, we rescue, we rehabilitate, then we reintegrate. Yeah. So the vulnerable young girls and women, those who we rescue are from different kinds of abuses, such as sexual gender-based violence, child labor, domestic violence, and trafficking. Yeah.
Wow. Sounds like there's really a lot going on in the background.
Yes.
Maybe you could tell us where the shelter is located for a better perspective.
Okay, our shelter is located in Kiserian, that is in Kajiado County.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Being in that field, how has it been for you?
Okay, it has been good, especially seeing the lives of young girls and women being transformed, giving hope to those who had really lost hope in life. Yeah.
Okay. Then definitely, I'm very curious. I'm very sure there are some stories, or there are some people who have come through the program and their stories have really been memorable, been touching. Maybe you could give us one or two highlighted stories that you feel were very memorable for you.
Okay. So from the categories that I've mentioned, like 90% of our survivors are cases of SGBV, whereby we rescue as young as 10-year-old girl, because our project it targets from 10 to 24 years of age. So we come across girls who are as young as 8, 9 years being defiled by the incest, defilement from the incest. So as we see the life of this girl being transformed, so most of the girls who come at our shelter are always very traumatized from whatever they have gone through. So when they come at the shelter, they come when so vulnerable, very traumatized, having lost hope in life. But at the end of it all, as long as they come in our hands, we give them hope again to live, whereby we take them through the counseling session, whereby they in the counseling session, they are taken through sessions whereby they ease their trauma until they are ready to go back, either back to school, go back to their vocational, and their life comes back to normal. So in some instances, we come across girls who have been defiled, and in the process of defilement, you encounter a girl has been impregnated. And when she is impregnated, she can be as young as 12 years.
Oh, no.
Yeah, 12 years.
So sad.
So that's a baby having another baby. So it's us, as the shelter, with my team, because in the shelter I have the counselor, I have the caregivers behind me. It's our work to ensure we go through the journey with this girl. We take her through the ANC clinic, the delivery, which is, so you can imagine, this is a girl, this is a baby giving birth to a baby. Sometimes they end up saying that, I want to end my life. I don't want this baby. I don't want the baby. Maybe the baby, she could have been defiled by the stepdad. By the way, I've come to realize most of the cases are from the stepdad. The defilement is from the stepdad, of which now, before the girl comes to be pregnant, if she tells you a story from the time the dad started, maybe it's like 2 or 3 years, and the thing has been going on until now when she's pregnant. That is when the whole thing is noticed by everyone.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Those are very saddening stories to hear for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe you could give us 1 or 2 instances where you've come across something and you felt like, oh no.
Okay, one of the I can call it a success story.
Yes.
From the many that we have had at the shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is one girl who was rescued when she was 7 months pregnant. And so when she came at the shelter, after we read her case profile, we realized that, okay, she had come from a very vulnerable family whereby she used to go to someone's shamba to be given like kibarua so that she could get her basic needs. Okay, she was an orphan. Her mother died and now she used to stay with her grandmother. So the grandmother was not well off. She didn't embrace this girl. So she was like, can you go out and fight can you go fight kibarua so that you can get yourself food?
Mm-hmm.
So the girl, she had a condition. For one, she is HIV positive. Secondly, she is epileptic.
Oh no.
So when the girl went to the kibarua, she went to the neighbors where she was given a piece of land to dig. So in the process of digging, now that she used to be at work from 8 to 1, and that is where she could be given 250 shillings. So while she was at the shamba, the epileptic attack got her and she fainted. So when she fainted, she said that at the neighboring shamba, there were some other guys who were also digging. So one of them came and raped her.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
She was raped. And now after the attack, the person who raped and just left, and the girl was left there helplessly. She's just in her attack. Until it came in the evening when it started being cold. That is when she started shivering, until now the owner of the land was like, kwani hajatoka kwa shamba.
Yeah.
She has taken too long. That is when she came, because she was already. When she came to the shamba, she met the girl. The girl was there, helpless. The attack had got her for like hours, and the rape has taken place. No one knows. So the owner of the shamba just helped the girl. They went at home. She nursed her, and she regained her conscience. And then she went back home. But inside herself, she felt something has gone on, but she was not even alert to know what has happened, what has really happened in my body. So months went by, until this girl realized that she was pregnant. So, for one, she is HIV positive, and now this is pregnancy. You can imagine now the situation. It was too difficult.
Yeah.
So the grandmother did not concentrate. I don't know what was the grudge between the grandmother and the grandchild, because this was her grandchild. Now that the mother had passed on.
No.
So the daughter was left this girl was left under the care of the grandmother.
Yeah.
So the grandmother stayed with the girl. One thing I realized, she contracted the HIV from the mom. So she was in drugs, the HIV
drugs.
The HIV drugs. So she was on drugs. So as she went back to the clinic where she used to pick her drugs, that is when the doctors realized something
is wrong.
Yeah. Until when they realized, it's like, okay, sorry to mention, it's like the girl was pregnant. So they took her to an NANC clinic, whereby she was cleaned and it was identified that she was pregnant. So when she was asked, who's pregnant? She's like, I have never been with someone.
How could this have happened? Because she was not conscious when they did happened. Oh no.
Yeah. So it happened like that. So the case became too complicated. Now even the grandmother said that she don't want anything to do with her, because now she wants to add more problems
to what was going
to whatever
on.
they were going through.
Yeah.
So that is when the girl was actually she got a space in our shelter through a CHV in from the hospital, where she was going for the CCC clinic. So they got a placement in our shelter whereby we let her in, and by then she was 7 months
Pregnant.
Mm-hmm. So when she came to our shelter, it was not easy. With her epileptic attack, with the HIV, she is pregnant in a new environment. It was not easy, but with God's grace. I remember when she came, she was escorted by the CHV of the hospital where she was attending, the CCC clinic. So she had to take me through her medication. So she was into medication, the epileptic
And for HIV.
Yeah, and now the ANC clinic.
No.
So I think that is the time I started taking like the full burden in my shoulders. I put myself in that shoe. So I was like, okay, this is the girl, she is pregnant. For the first time, I was scared. I was like, shall we be able to handle her? How will we handle her? When she comes to give birth, how are we going to handle her? But it is with God's grace. When you find yourself in a situation, God makes a way. Because I remember, she was left at our hands, but we were like, it's okay, we'll look at her. But we were fearing, we had a kind of fear. So when she was left at our hands, we enrolled her to the CCC around our shelter, whereby she was enrolled. And at 7 months, I remember there was a time the attack got her. Before we knew what triggers the attack, it attacked her like thrice, four times while at our shelter. And we were like, oh my God, so if it is like this and she's pregnant, what about when she gives birth? We thought like if we could take her back. But now they brought her at our shelter for care and protection. No one wants, the grandmother even doesn't have anything to do with her. Yeah, so it was God's mercy that someone showed us an epileptic clinic whereby we enrolled her also. So we had her 2 medication for HIV and for epileptic, of which we were so strict with the time for the medication. So as we were able to follow the medication, now the epileptic attack was normal. And now with the HIV, it was okay now that she was taken at the right time. So when the time came for giving birth, she delivered a normal delivery to a very beautiful baby girl.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And now with the girl, with the baby girl, now it's for the mother to continue with the HIV medication, also the baby. As much as the baby is breastfeeding, there was that specific time for her medication, of which I was so strict with it. Even after when she was discharged from the hospital, myself, have you ever committed yourself to something? I would make sure the girl's time for medication is this, for the baby is this. I wouldn't like anybody to stop me to go and give the drug myself. With the collect measurement that the doctor had prescribed.
Yeah.
So it went by. We thanked God because she stabilized and she came to a point of loving the baby. But at times, we knew when the epileptic was to be, the attack was to come. There was something that was triggering, especially when she was angry. She could throw the baby down.
Oh no.
We used to go and remove the baby under the bed. An innocent baby. Until it came a time, she could not sleep to the other dorm. She used to sleep at my dorm, whereby I could make sure I am with the baby and she's there. If the baby wants to breastfeed, she breastfeeds the baby and then I take the baby. Because at times the attack could get her while at sleep, which was so risky. She could even sleep on the baby. Yeah. So it was not easy. So we went like that until when the baby was 6 months, and that is when we went for the first test for the HIV. It turned negative.
Wow.
And the doctor said, no, that was exclusive breastfeeding.
Yes.
So from now onwards, the baby should not breastfeed, but continue with the medication. That is what we did. Until 1 year, I took her back. And the baby turned out negative.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just so amazed. Like, yo.
Yeah, so that is one of my success story, and I feel proud even up to date when I see that girl. She's now going to 4 years. So maybe next year she'll be enrolled to baby class.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's truly a success story.
Yeah,
it's not just a story, it's a success story.
It is, and she's a very cute baby girl.
Wow.
So as time goes by, I usually ask her mother, and who was the father of this beautiful girl? She's like, imagine I don't know.
Oh no.
Imagine I don't know. And now I always imagine, so the person who did that, he also contracted the HIV from her. Yeah.
Which takes me to question, because hearing that story from you, it makes me question the society in terms of if the grandmother was not able to assist her during that time of need, how many more cases do you encounter on the basis that you admit the women to the shelter, or the girls to the shelter? How many cases do you encounter like that, where they have issues with the family and they are on their own?
Okay, so that was one of the cases. The neglect, we can say that's the neglect from the grandmother. Because I told you that the grandmother was responsible.
Yes.
That could not have happened. So there are many, actually we came to realize there are many that happens in the rural areas whereby they are never reached. So this is one of the one that came in our hands. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I think, hearing that from you, maybe you could tell us from the time these, because I'm imagining this just one among the cases that you encounter, from the time this did happen to the time that it was reported, how has been just getting justice for these young women or these ladies who have gone through such a situation? How has it been? Is it easy? Take us through that journey.
It is not easy. It's really not easy, because now, by the time that this girl comes to her real senses, it was not easy. She had to go, even up today, she is in counseling sessions. Because at a time, she would stay somewhere and think. Sometimes it came a time, when the baby was 1 year, she was taken to a vocational training where she was doing a knitting course. So when she came back, we realized there is no boarding with the baby. So we were like, hey, what's wrong? That is when we came to realize she was like, she could not do the responsibilities of her baby. She didn't want to do anything for the baby. At a time, you find her at her own world, thinking. So you are like, what is wrong? What is disturbing you? So that one, we book her for the counseling session, now that knowing there's something not going well for her. Until recently, it was early this year, we decided to do the home tracing and see the grandmother, to see whether the grandmother knows where the girl went, to know whether she's ready to take her back, or to know, is it really true, whatever the girl has been telling us about the grandmother, of which we went. We did the family tracing and went until where the grandmother stays. So the grandmother was there. It was even not a big deal to see the girl after 3 years.
Of not seeing her.
Even not knowing the whereabouts of the girl. Now this is a girl with a very beautiful baby girl, and the grandmother doesn't care. Actually, whatever she was concentrated with was, what have you brought? What is this that you have brought for me? So after the family visit, because as I said, we reach, rescue, rehabilitate, and reintegrate. So now that we thought we had rehabilitated, our main issue was to rehabilitate. Now that we had reached, we had rescued, we had rehabilitated, whereby the girl went back to the college and she had her course. The baby is big enough to go back to school. And as we all know that shelters are not permanent place to stay.
Yes. So
there comes a time for reintegration. Reintegration is a process whereby you take the girl back to the community, back to the family members. So although it's not like just at once, it's a process. Reintegration is a process. So that was one of the process. It was now the beginning of the process for the reintegration of the girl and her baby, of which it was not productive at all. Because after we visited, the girl was like eager, I want to spend with my grandmother. But the grandmother was like, mtalala wapi? Huku hata vitanda nilitoa. Mtalala wapi?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I went back with the girl, and it was a distance because it was at Rift Valley County. So I had to come back with her. Yeah. So the girl is there. She graduated in November. Now she's at home at the shelter. Now she's like desperate. No, I want to go back home. And I'm like,
where is she going back?
To who?
Oh,
you see?
Yeah.
To who? Did you see how your grandmother behaved? She's like, but after when you just observe her, you'll see she has so many questions, so many questions, and now she has started now being proud of her baby girl because she's like, anamshika anatembea huko, the baby is cute. I'm telling you, it's a baby everyone would like to have. So sahi ameanza hata kumuosha vizuri. She's proud of the girl. Now it's like they are bonding. So our next journey is, what are we going to do? But now from the organizational side of view, we were thinking if we could try to get her a knitting machine, mobilize her to start a small shop and to start knitting for people, of which we are not sure whether she should be able to do it by herself or how it will be, but we are looking into it.
That's a testament of how the organization has gone in terms of helping these people reintegrate them to the society. And now, allow me to ask, this is just one of the many cases that happen on a daily basis, right? What has been the community's role in either supporting or being against what you're doing? Have they been supportive in helping you help these women who are going through GBV, or have you received any resistance from them?
Okay, from the community level, just as what we do as a shelter, we try to create awareness outside there to avoid. We create an awareness even at the nearby schools to the community to avoid the further abuse of the girls. Yeah, but as far as they are aware of what we are doing, sometimes they give support, like if it's clothes, they bring clothes. Sometimes if it's stuffs like food stuffs, they support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Having done this for quite a while now, what are the challenges that are there to running the organization? Because I understand it's a shelter. So you definitely need the funding, you definitely need some other resources to help you run it smoothly. What are some of the challenges that have been very major, or any that you've encountered while running the shelters?
Okay, one of the challenges, sustainability of funds to sustain these girls. They need the basic needs, school fees to school fees where they go to school. They come at the shelter with no clothes, with nothing. So sustainability is one of the major challenge. Yeah. Whereby now we are trying to see how to sustain ourselves as a shelter. So maybe we thought of having some income generating activities to sustain the shelter and to sustain the survivors.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great hearing that. Maybe now for those who will be listening, what do you feel would be helpful to the organization to help you run smoothly? Like for anybody who's hearing there, you never know.
What I would like to say, especially for us women, let us take care of our girls. Our girls are really going through a lot, and there is no one to listen to them. Okay, as I said, like the 90% of our cases are SGBV. 40% of the cases are we come to know about them at school. So when there is the sex education at school, of which we've been creating awareness to the schools around our shelter, whereby the girl comes now that she has been so traumatized at home. The development has been going on. The mother is not there to listen to her girl child. She doesn't concentrate how the girl child is staying at home. So the girl is being abused severally by the stepdad at the house. And the mother is not there to listen to the baby. She's so busy out there going to Kibarua, Marachama. She doesn't have time for her baby, for her girl child. So the thing I would like to say, tusikize watoto wetu. Let us have time for our children. Yeah. Let us have time for our children, tuwasikize. Let us also, as much as watafundishwa hapo shuleni, even us as parents, tufundishe watoto about the sex education, about my private parts. No one should touch them. You as a mother, usigoje ati anaenda kufunzwa huko shule.
Ndio unakuja.
Yes, yourself do it. Be free to your girl. If in case of anything, in case that thing, for the first attempt, she can even tell you, Mom, you know, this person was doing this and this and this to me. But now if there is a distance, if there is a gap between you and your girl, it will happen once, twice, thrice, without her telling you, because you are not free to her. Yeah, so all I would urge to the mothers, let us open up. Let us teach our girls. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me take you back to the 4 R's that the organization is using to reach, rescue, rehabilitate, and reintegrate.
Yeah.
Maybe you could give us a perspective on this. How has the stigma been? Because I can imagine this is probably somebody who the society has seen being beaten, violated. They know the story. How has it been to reintegrate these people to the society? The stigma aspect of it. Has it been easy even for you running and looking at these people and they're like, I know people are going to judge, definitely. Maybe you could give us a perspective on that.
Okay, normally it is not easy because when these girls are rescued and brought at the shelter, meaning there is a case behind. So the perpetrator is followed and the case is filed at the court. So in most cases, when the girl is still at the shelter in the rehabilitation process, the perpetrator, maybe for those cases that gets justice, you realize the perpetrator has been jailed. I have witnessed 2 cases so far from the cases I've worked with. 2 cases have gotten justice, whereby the perpetrator was jailed for 40 good years. 40 years.
40 years.
Yes. Yes. Those
Wow.
are 2 cases with the same case, girls being defiled by the stepdad. Yeah. So those are, I can say those are two cases that I've witnessed that have gotten justice. So when it comes a time that you want to take this girl back home, it is normally not easy. Because some of the family members are always very bitter with this girl, especially the in-laws. For example, the in-laws. Maybe the wife is there. The girl was rescued and was removed from this family. Now the wife was left with the dad. Then the dad was jailed because of defiling her daughter. And when you dig deep, you realize it's a stepdaughter. It's not this is not the
real daughter, the biological daughter.
Yeah, so the in-laws are normally very bitter. Now, maybe the mother, especially mother-in-law, they are normally very bitter, and they normally say, I would like to see this girl at home. He made my son to be jailed. How sure are we that even he's the one who had defiled her? So it is normally not easy. By the way, so far I have 2 cases whereby I cannot take those girls back to their families because the environment is not conducive. Yeah.
Oh no, that speaks about the gaps that still exist in the society, because I can imagine a parent choosing to house somebody who knows, she knows that this person has done something wrong and facing justice. Because I can imagine the mothers to these children, if they agree to not bring this to light, it means the justice is never served and the women continue to experience the GBV, sexual assaults by the stepdad, as you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Maybe as a person who works directly with the survivors, how do you balance the mental? Because I can imagine it can take a toll on you.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe you could tell us more about that.
Okay, it is normally not easy, especially being the frontline worker. We normally get vigorous trauma. But at the shelter, we have a counselor. We have a counselor. She comes twice a week, or maybe according to the demand, she's always available. So as much as she takes through the girls' counseling, she also does some debriefing. We do some debriefing. Yeah, so that has made us come this far, and we've been able to persevere.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that at least you're also taking care of your mental well-being, because it's very important, so that you can also be able to take care of the people that you rescue.
Sure. Actually, even the organization organized for a self-care training, whereby we were taught how to take care, the self-care. How do you take care of yourself as you handle the survivors? Yeah.
That's very important for sure. Now, allow me to ask, you said you reintegrate the survivors back to the society. Now, I want to imagine a situation where this person no longer fits, like the one case that you've mentioned, where they cannot go back to the society for one reason or the other. Are there any plans to mitigate? Because I can imagine maybe it's not one or two cases, several cases that may happen, and maybe the resources are only the ones that you've assigned is only for rescuing the 8 to the years that you've mentioned. Yeah. What was the plan in regards to that?
Okay, so I think that is where we have stagnated as a shelter, because now, as much as you cannot take the girl back to the community, meaning she will remain at the shelter. So it has become now, for the few that we have, and the family members are not ready to get them back, we are trying to see, and of which we've already started to see how we can support these girls to sustain themselves. Individual support living. Yeah, so that's our plan, to give them an individual support living so that they can be able to sustain themselves as well as their babies, as we monitor them. Yeah.
That's really awesome. You're really making an impact that is even bigger than yourself. And being in these seats, I would maybe want to ask, statistically speaking, for the people that have gone through the whole process, maybe you would tell us about the success rate in terms of even getting back the self-esteem, feeling like they can conquer the world despite what has happened to them. How would you say the statistics look like?
Okay. As much as as I said that the shelter holds a capacity of like 50. So like half of the capacity we will go through counseling and heal. We are so glad that most of them who comes are as young as at their very tender age, whereby after some counseling, then you introduce her, maybe if it's education, because we normally take them back to school.
Wow.
When we rescue girls, as the cases are going on at the court, we take them back to school. So it's us to inquire at what level are you, so that we can continue. So nothing stops for the girl. Everything continues as the case goes on. So it's our duty to make sure the girl goes back to school. So I wanted to say, as these girls go to school, it's like now they start a new life, because not all of them, if they are defined, not all of them get babies. And even for the ones who get babies, life still goes on, because we take them back to school and we are left with the babies as we take care of their babies. And we always show them, you are double blessed. You are going back to school. You have a cute baby boy, baby girl. Yeah, so that's how we always motivate them. And after some time, you realize they gain, like, they have hope in life. They are happy again. They admire now being whom they are.
Wow.
Yeah. So we try as much as we can.
All right. I'm just so amazed with the work you do, because that's not easy, especially with children. I would call them children because they're still very tender.
Yeah.
That's really amazing job. I understand you're part of the Sauti Kenya program. They're running a program that you're a part of.
Yes.
Maybe you could tell us a bit about that.
So yeah, we are in the training of Sauti Kenya, of which has been so impactful to whatever we are doing at the shelter. Yeah, so far we've learned a lot. We've been enlightened on how to run our shelters. We've interacted, we've exchanged ideas, and so far, like, we've learned about the advocacy and gender health, whereby we've been taught about the wellness and safety of both the staffs and the survivors while at the shelter. Yeah, so we've been enlightened on how to do the sustainability funding, the policy reforms, the service integration. So they have taken us through all that, and now we are in the topic of leadership, whereby we are taught how to become good leaders at the shelter. Yes.
Maybe you could give us more insight so that even somebody who's not been part of that forum can be able to get one or two lessons from what you've learned.
Okay.
Or what has stood out for you.
As for me, I can say, as I said, with the sustainable funding, of which it was one of the challenges that you had asked. So when I came to this platform of the Sauti Kenya, I thought it is of great help, because now that about the sustainable funding, we try to see on the project and how to sustain the funding and to sustain the survivors while at the shelter. Yeah.
Awesome. I have so much to ask, and I even don't know where to start because it's a whole big thing. I can imagine having to rescue that person, to run the organization. I'm looking at the big picture. So maybe you could tell us about yourself. We've spoken so much about Talia Agler. You could tell us about who is Agnes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Agnes Waweru is a mother of 3 and a widow.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, and my profession is a nurse. So even when I went at the shelter, I went there as a nurse. Because even up to now, girls will just call me nurse. But I'm so friendly. They are so friendly.
You even look the part. You're very friendly.
Yeah, so with that, so that is Agnes. I went to the shelter when I was a nurse. So I went there to my docket was specifically about the healthcare and the safety of the girls. So as much as I engaged with them, interacted with them, I found myself so passionate. As I said with the girl, the story that I've given previously of the baby, that one is the one that impacted me most. And now that I found myself like, I want to walk the journey with these girls. Yeah. So being at the shelter, I found myself so passionate, actually seeing the lives of these girls being transformed. And as I see them thrive in life, it's my joy. By the way, I feel like this is where I fitted. Yeah.
It's like it was your calling.
It was my calling. Because whenever I see them thrive, it's my joy. When I see A girl comes at the shelter so traumatized, and with time, she's back to life again. She's happy. She has thrived. She has gone back to school. Actually, we've taken others are even in universities. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Others are even in universities. We have Dista University, Technical University of Kenya. We have another one who joined NYS last year. Yeah, so those are some of the success stories.
Wow, I would love to hear all the stories because I can imagine the impact that you guys are making.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe as we are about to end, what has been your source of inspiration? Because I understand this is not easy. Not everybody can do what you do. What has been your greatest source of inspiration?
So, my great inspiration is seeing the life of vulnerable girls and young women being transformed. Seeing them thrive in life. Yeah, I think that is my inspiration to this work. Yes.
That really tells of how good you are, how compassionate you really are.
Sure.
If you could achieve one significant change in how shelters operate in Kenya, what would that be?
Okay, there have been some challenges in Kenya about the shelters because it's like shelters have not been recognized. Shelters, like most people are not aware of the shelters. So if the government would just chip in and stand in the gap to support the shelters, maybe we could reach more survivors. Maybe we could work better. Maybe we could make girls reach far and young women. Yeah.
So if you were the president today, what is that one thing you would change either in the reforms or you would do to help the survivors, the GBV survivors?
So one of the things is just like to create forums, to create awareness to the community level, to stop these femicide things, to eliminate the GBV, all those kind of things. Maybe so to make more forums, even to the grassroots, to ensure this message is all over. So that we can try to eliminate these cases that are rising every day. Yeah.
Yeah, you've spoken the truth, especially now that Kenya is grappling with femicide. That's very true.
Yeah.
What's one key takeaway you would tell the audience, especially now that we are in the 16 days of activism?
Okay. So in these days, these 16 days of activism, my message is let us sensitize, let us reach out to the community levels, let us create awareness everywhere to stop GBV. Yeah. Let our women live in peace. Yeah. That is my message.
Thank you so much.
That is my message.
We are creating a safe space, especially now that we're in the 16 days of activism, and hearing from one of the key people in that industry. I really hope that we can take this seriously. It's been so nice having you in this session, Miss Agnes.
Okay.
I hope we can have another session. It's been so insightful. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.